Well, hello once again. This is me, Leonard Wells, broadcasting as usual from HASLINGDEN, just north of Manchester in the UK, on Sunday the 6th of November 2011. This is part 43 in my series, The United States of Europe, which is my dream. And so far we've gone through all of the main countries in the EU, the 27. Now we're going through a hodgepodge of countries I expect will join eventually. Today we're going to look at Serbia. This is a complicated country with a complicated history, but I'm going to try and simplify it as much as I can. Up to about the 14th century, Serbia ruled quite an empire in the Balkans. Quite an empire. But then, the Ottoman Empire, at a great battle, Battle of Kosovo I believe it was called, strangely enough, defeated the Serbs, and for the next 300 and something years, it was ruled by the Ottomans. Even today the currency is called the dinar. Then, in 1815, it set about trying to become independent. And it wasn't until 1918, at the end of the Second World War, that it finally achieved it. And then it became, with many of these little countries in the Balkans here, a sort of collection of states which in 1929 changed its name to Yugoslavia, which is the one we know it by. The states concerned up to that point were Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Macedonia, Kosovo, etc. And they became known as Yugoslavia. Then, of course, along comes the Second World War, and Serbia was occupied by the Germans, because the Germans attacked Yugoslavia, and there was a heck of a lot of fighting going on. There were partisans, communist partisans, and all kinds of partisans fighting the Germans and fighting each other. It was a mess. All kinds of wicked things went on. Many of the Jews were murdered, slaughtered, and the Roma, because in this part of the world there were more Roma than in the northern parts of Europe. So they've had a hard time, those Roma. They have my sympathy. That may not be a popular thing to say in England, but we've had a little bit too much peace in one sense. This is the reason why Europeans are fed up with war, and so we should be. But with all this talk of punching above our weight, we're too keen to whiz in with the to go to war. I'm convinced that any time somebody gets into Downing Street and they start going to the cenotaph and saluting the past and all those glorious battles that we fought, that they get ideas above their station, you know. For 2,000 years, Europeans have fought each other, and we've killed 100 million people in that 2,000 years. Now we have a chance of 2,000 years of peace. If we can come together, we don't become a different country if we become part of the United States of Europe. As in America. Is California any the less a great state because it's part of the United States of America? Surely the United States of America has been able to achieve greater things in the world, militarily as well, yes, than would a collection of all those states. Would Maryland have been a great country without being part of the United States of America? What do you think? If we had a United States of Europe, we would have our own president, we would have a capital, maybe even something similar to the White House, only more modern perhaps. Don't forget, we Brits burned down one of the White Houses, yes, when America was fighting for its independence. So, I'm in favour of 2,000 years of peace, because we can achieve mighty things with 2,000 years of peace, and we can do it on a big scale. Not like the Eurosceptics, the Little Englanders, but on a big scale. You have to think big when you're dealing with the greatest bloc on the planet. It is by far and away stronger collectively than the United States and China combined. So, to come back to Serbia, eventually the Germans were kicked out in 1945 with the help of the Russians, and it became part of, under the dictator Tito, Yugoslavia was collectively brought back together again and lasted until the beginning of late 80s, early 90s, which is when all the big things started to happen with the Russian Empire. That started to fall apart. If you like, it was the sort of Eastern Europe's spring, if you like. Eventually, once communism fell, all these countries started to want their independence. Oh, and what kind of problems that brought on. We had all these kinds of wars. We had a crazy character called Slobodan Milosevic in charge in Serbia, and all kinds of dreadful, dreadful, dreadful crimes. Ethnic cleansing and rapes and all kinds of wicked things were carried on in and around here. And because of the proximity of the EU, they wanted to join the EU. But of course, we said that we want Slobodan Milosevic to stand trial for war crimes, and then this Mladic, other characters who committed war crimes during this terrible time, when NATO bombed Kosovo and Serbia, now Kosovo is under a kind of international umbrella, but separate, but still Serbia doesn't agree that it is a separate country. So anyway, that's Serbia. We've got one more left, which is the Vatican City, which is the smallest. But you could spend a month talking about the Vatican and Christianity, couldn't you? So I'm going to say God bless, while it's still legal in the UK to say God bless. Take care, and bye for now.